NBA rumor, executive believes Miami Heat will seriously try to move Jimmy Butler at some point. A recent NBA rumor suggested that Jimmy Butler may soon find himself on the trade block. With the NBA executive voicing his thoughts on the Miami Heat's approach towards Butler, the executive shared his thoughts with Sean Devaney of 𝘍𝘌.com. The Miami Heat are in a bit of an awkward position this season. Considering how dominant they were last year's regular season, the Heat are pretty much a shell of that team. Given the aggressive and competitive environment within the Heat's organization, players and staff have been vocal about their poor performances. Currently dropping to 7th place in the East, the organization has every reason to be unhappy. The current rumors within the organization are only compounded by a few occurrences after the Orlando Magic game. The Magic came out on top after a grueling regulation and OT period. However, Heat star Jimmy Butler's response to the loss was quite shocking. Butler can be seen walking to the locker room without going to the bench after the loss. Considering their individual contributions to the game, many fans felt their reaction was justified. However, these actions resulted in some interesting rumors. During a conversation with 𝘍𝘍.com's Sean Devaney, an NBA executive mentioned the possibility of Miami moving Jimmy Butler soon. He initially shed light on Miami's potential, considering a roster overhaul. He said, "If they really wanted to reframe, they would have to start with Jimmy Butler, and that's a tricky proposition." The executive also mentioned that Butler's history with different teams also makes him a bit of an asset to move. He has a home in Miami, but we've seen Jimmy cause some trouble elsewhere and nobody's forgotten that. Minnesota, Philadelphia, Chicago, he's got some history, right? So that's a problem. He concluded by saying. Then you have the fact that he turns 34 this summer. He's played well, his numbers have held up, but he works so hard for everything he gets that you can imagine he's going to take a pretty quick downturn. Reaches in. This is another difficult thing they would have to deal with. The executive listed some very valid points. While also factoring in how often Butler is injured, he might not hold much value in the commercial market. But would the Heat really benefit from trading Butler? Trading Jimmy Butler may not help Miami. The Miami Heat certainly seem to be in a position where they will be considering all options for the future. The notion of trading Jimmy Butler to start a roster overhaul seems like the most obvious approach at this point. However, this may not benefit the team. The real problem for Miami is the elements that haven't worked for the team. Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry are examples of this. The list, as it stands, is flawed. There may be some upside to trading Butler. However, given what he brings to the table as a leader and his sheer playoff excellence, Miami might be better off hedging their bets with him at their side.